And now the end is near, and so I face the final shit show. My friend, I'll say it clear, this one too is a pretty big pile of shit. Alright, musical number aside, Jurassic World Dominion, released in 2022. Oh boy. Alright, let's get ready. The fuck was that? Okay. I hate this one. See, Jurassic Park 3, I said, was the second worst. Yeah, this is the one that beats it. I don't like Jurassic Park 3. I despise Jurassic World 3. Now, I'm going to start this off with characters. But before I get into anything else, I'm going to try and be positive at first and name the good things. Alright, characters. Owen Grady. This is where he's his weakest, honestly. This is... Oh, fuck! Yeah, go away. This is where he's his weakest. I don't mind him, of course, but he's not that good in this one. Claire Deering, however, is honestly her best in this movie. She's pretty good, actually, in this one. So it's kind of weird how Owen Grady and Claire are partners, and yet they are at their best in different times. Maisie Lockwood is better in this one. I guess they tried to make her origin story a little bit less stupid, but I don't think it really worked. So, anyway, on the contrary, Isabella Sermon is still great at acting. There's a scene where the Giga has its mouth around this little metal cage she's in, a little metal cage kind of thing around a ladder, and her performance in that scene in particular, and in the rest of the scenes, is really good. So, I really have high hopes for Miss Sermon's career, acting career. The pilot lady, Kayla, I just watched this 5 minutes ago. Kayla Watts or something like that. I like her. She's funny. She has good vibes, and it's alright, I guess. She's good. Ramsey Cole is there too. He's like the Bronson dude. He's cool, I guess. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm. I don't know why my first instinct was to say his actor name. They're fine in this one, but their plotline is dumber than the new ones. I mean, the new guys are just, this is Taken, but with dinosaurs within. But yeah, they're good as ever. Tim Cook, the villain, the CEO of Apple. Yeah, he actually stars in this movie. He's like, Tim Cook, decided to stop running Apple and started to run the damn Bronson. So yeah, Tim Cook, I don't like him very much. He's not a very good villain. He's got a good death scene, but all the villains do. So, not very good. Tim Cook's not a good villain. I'm sorry, Tim Cook. You're not a good villain. Alright. Good things. Sequences. This movie is directed pretty well. It is good at sequences at times. The Mala sequence, the Therizinosaurus horror scene kind of thing. A lot of the scenes with the Giganotosaurus are fine. The T-Rex looks the best she does. All the characters are funny, but not too funny. And then the Therizinosaurus is cool. Therizinosaurus is cool. Gigas is cool. Gigas is sort of cool. We'll get into that later. Well, I think in order to best tear apart this movie, I think I'm gonna go through the movie's plot. Okay. So the movie begins in the middle of the ocean with the Mosasaurus coming out, and he tips over a boat and eats some fish off of it. And then there's this news broadcast, and it's less of a news broadcast, but more of a recap of the last few movies' events. So it's basically just a recap. Some of it's like, well, would she really know that? Would she really be reporting this? I don't think she would. But anyway, we get all caught up in the story. And close the door. Hello? Alright, yeah, we get all caught up in the story by a news broadcast. And then, what else? And then, oh, fuck, what happens next? I don't know. I just watched this movie 5 minutes ago and I'm blanking because I hate this movie. Claire's back. That's right, yeah, we go into this good scene where they capture a Triceratops and then go into this, field of Triceratops, and the Triceratops, flips over a car, and that's a good sequence that I don't think goes on for nearly long enough. And then Zia and Franklin screaming guy are all like, well, you see, this is what you're doing is good, but we don't like how you're doing it, so you see, Franklin here is gonna go get a job at the CIA, and I'm gonna go, I don't know, be a terrible person or something. So, yeah, she goes back home. Maisie's there. Owen's introductory scene. I almost forgot. It's pretty epic. It's got some good music. It's got the Chasing the Dragons theme returning. And he wrangles a Parasaurolophus, a multi-ton animal, by stopping it with a tree trunk and tying it up. Ridiculous? Yes. Awesome? Yes. So, it's fine. Anyway, Maisie's not supposed to go past the bridge, but she does anyway, because, teenager, defiance, and exploration, two things that go pretty hand in hand. So, but they don't like her doing that, so they have a talk with her. She gets upset multiple times, way too much, honestly. They spend way too much time on this. But Blue has a baby. Her name is Beta, it ends up being. And I was fine with this. I guess some people weren't. But, I mean, remember, this was revealed in the trailer, and I was like, ooh, yeah. Hell yeah. She got a baby? We got two Blues? I mean, sure, why not? Okay. Sure, why not? Where do we go next? Oh god, what happens next? Okay, yeah, so there's this guy with a face tattoo that's like, we found him, but they also got the girl, so we found all the shit you wanted. So yeah, I think I'll come deliver in a few days. So Beta and Blue get kidnapped. So Owen and Claire go to the CIA where Franklin works now and ask him some questions. It's Rain Delacourt is the face tattooed guy, and they're like, alright, well, now we're going to Malta, since that's apparently where he went. I don't know how they know that, but that's where he went. And Barry from the Jurassic World is in there too. So we're going to go there. What are the old now? You might be asking, wait, are you skipping some things? Where are the old guys? The elderly people. The senior citizens of the movie. There's the scene where these little kids, they're tending to the farm and shit, but then these bugs, just swarm of giant bugs, just flies towards them. They run into a barn, they capture one in a bucket, and Ellie Sattler comes wearing the exact same outfit she did in the first movie, and, they're like, oh, yeah, they're eating all of our crops, but, you see, they're not eating biosin seed. The neighbors, they have biosin seed, they're not eating that. And so I was like, oh, really? So Ellie Sattler does what everybody would do in this situation and goes to an old friend who's a paleontologist to go get some help. So they talk. The reunition is pretty cool. And yeah, she shows him the locust, and then she's like, "You coming or what? Because I'm tagging you along in this for no real reason." Yeah, Alan Grant's kind of useless in this movie. You could kind of remove him from the plot and it wouldn't have much effect. Yeah, and they have a way to get into Biosin Valley, and it's like, yeah, we got a man on the inside. Freaking Ian Malcolm works there, because of course he does. So yeah, they got a way inside. Back to new guys. The ones who aren't senior citizens. Here we go. So they go to Malta, and this James Bond villain, they transported her with the Maisie and Beta with the 2 planes, and they start transporting them. They lift out. They go to Biosin Valley, and then yeah, there's a whole action scene here. They revealed them to them Biosin Valley, so everybody's got the same destination now. And then what happens next? There's a chase scene straight out of a Jason Bourne movie or Fast and Furious movie, where, there's no music. You can just hear the revving of the cars, and it's cool, I guess. It's fine. You see an Allosaurus eat a guy off of a Segway, and if I'm gonna go, that's not a bad way. I don't know. I mean, listen, if I die by being eaten by an Allosaurus while riding a Segway, I die happy, honestly. That's a cool way to go. That or being impaled by a Triceratops in a wedding. That would be quite a way to go. Okay, we're getting yucky now. So they get into Kayla's plane, who decides to help them because she feels bad, I guess. And so they go to Biosin Valley. Now, welcome to the rest of the movie, the yucky section. The gross part of this movie, which is the rest of it. This movie peaks an hour in. This movie peaked before it came out, let's be honest. The hype was better than any of this movie, really. Yeah, all the hype building up to it since Fallen Kingdom was... All of that combined, it was better than the movie itself, and that's not how it should be. Listen, just the hype on the final year before the movie was better than the movie itself. And they're going to Biosin Valley, they start flying in, it's like, oh wait, this is restricted airspace, you can't be here. And they're like, oh, well, Denise, remember that thing we did in Illinois? Yeah, and it's a different Denise. And it's like, they send a freaking bird after him, a Quetzalcoatlus, and he destroys the plane. And, well, you see, Claire ejects out, and she falls into the trees, and then, actually, the movie takes a pretty dark turn. Owen and Kayla crash into some ice, and the writers actually decided, what if they die? And, yeah, so we go the rest of the movie without Chris Pratt or Kayla, because this movie has balls. Just kidding, no, they live. Are you insane? And then we have a cool Therizinosaurus sequence with Claire, and then there's a scene with a Pyroraptor who the ice starts to crack, and he goes under the ice, where Owen and Kayla aren't, and swims around under there for a purpose I never have understood. Why did he go underwater? What was the plan? What was the what was the idea? I don't know. This movie is stupid. So they run and then get into an elevator and they go down. They're fine. They live because nobody dies in this movie. Anyway, Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm, and Ellie Sattler all get together, and he gives them a pass so they can go into the sublevels. They go into the sublevels. They grab a locust. Oh, yes, a locust. This movie might as well be called Come See Colin Trevorrow's Bugs, featuring some dinosaurs in there, too. Because the whole center of this movie revolves around the locust. Everything revolves around bugs in this Jurassic World movie. And so Ellie Sattler, they go into the locust cage. They take a sample. They get out of there. Maisie, who's been kidnapped, runs out. Oh yeah, and Dr. Wu explained them. There's something in your DNA, and if I'm able to get your DNA, I will be able to inject it into a locust, I guess, and throw it in there and kill them all. So that's what I want. So yeah, and then we get introduced to the dinosaur villain, the Giganotosaurus, who would be fine as a T-Rex rival, but Colin Trevorrow built him up so much to where Charlie here, Penguin, most critical, was expecting the Giganotosaurus to start talking about society because he compared him to the Joker, when that's a horrible comparison. Indominus is closer to the Joker than any other villain, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Giganotosaurus gets introduced. The most realistic dinosaur fight gets shown, as in they kind of bite each other a little bit and then move on because, it's not worth it. But then we're starting to get really yucky. We're getting into some shit territory. So freaking Alan Grant, Ellie Settler, and Maisie run out. They get into the pod, and Ramsey's like, "Did you get the sample?" "Yeah, I'm a good guy. Here, I told Malcolm. Here, get into the pod. Here, come on, Maisie, get into the pod. We're all getting in the pod, except for me. You guys are going. I'll handle this. Go." And then Ian Malcolm gets fired because they saw him give him the key. And he has this whole monologue because, guess what? It's Ian fucking Malcolm, so he can talk. Oh, yeah, think about Ian Malcolm. People complain about his character being different in the Lost World. Look at him here. This is not Jeff Goldblum playing Ian Malcolm. This is Jeff Goldblum just playing Jeff Goldblum. This is just Jeff in a Jurassic movie. This is not Ian Malcolm. It's not. So, yeah, it's literally Jeff. Just being Jeff. Anyway, Alan Grant, they're in the pod, they go, and then they get out, and, because the power shuts down, and then they go through, they have a Dimetrodon scene, Ian Malcolm comes, he thinks he gets the code, but really it's Ramsey Cole messing with it. They escape, Dimetrodons just fuck off, I guess, and then, Claire, she's at this tower thing, friggin' Dilophosaurus comes back for 5 seconds, and Owen chokes one and scares it off. I don't like this movie, by the way. Yeah, and then friggin', this is ridiculous. This is one of the most ridiculous. Tim Cook's like, "Oh God, we're fucked. What do I do? Okay, first plan of action. Gotta go to the locusts who are, all flying around in their little cage. I gotta burn them. I gotta get rid of the evidence that we're attached to this. So I'm gonna burn them, and then they escape through this Death Star duct. The little weak spot that they shoot through. Yeah, that's literally what they, fly through. And then they fly around. They're burning in the sky. There's, and it's, raining fire, basically. And anyway, and Ian Malcolm's there driving. He's like, and, one lands on the hood, and he's like, "Oh, that's bananas." Tell me that's something Ian Malcolm would say. Now, do you think that's something Jeff Goldblum would say? Or Ian Malcolm? Because I think that's something Jeff Goldblum would say. Anyway, they kind of get into a precarious situation where they're teetering and tottering. And it's like, okay. And it rolls over because of fucking course it does. And then, of course, they roll right into the scene where Claire and Owen are. And it's like, okay, sure, that might as well happen. So, they're there. They all unite. The Giganotosaurus comes out of who the hell knows where. And then there's an attack scene. And freaking, so everyone gets up there. And there's the excellent scene where Maisie, excellent acting on Isabella Sermon. But then freaking Ian Malcolm, stabs into a damn burning locust. And he's got it there, and he's, waving it around, and he catches the Giga's attention, and he's like, "Hey, look over here, buddy." And, he holds it like this, and then throws it into the Giga's mouth, runs under him, goes to the ladder, climbs up, and the Giga, roars as his mouth is on fire, and the fire comes out like he's breathing it. So he basically turns into a fire-breathing dragon a little bit. And then Ian Malcolm almost falls, but Alan Grant catches him. And then the attack continues a little more, but then the Giga's like, okay, this isn't worth it. So then he screws off, and then that's all I've seen for a while. And I guess they go and reboot some stuff, Claire and Ellie do, and then they go and get Beta, Alan, Grant, Maisie, and Owen do. So then, yeah, then they go do some shit. Let's blow up some shit. And then they get Beta, they go, and then Dr. Wu comes on and was like, listen, I want to help. And then Maisie's like, and Maisie's attitude earlier was literally this to Dr. Wu. But now she's like, okay, fine, you've convinced me. It's what my mother would have wanted. Okay, fine. You can take my DNA. Oh, gosh. So I guess he does that at some point. Then they go back into the valley where Kayla has a helicopter ready. And then, yeah. And all the dinosaurs are called back with the stupid shit from a TV show, a spin-off TV show. And, see, so we're talking... So let's say this little circle where they're at is about as big as this piece of tape. Imagine trying to throw in 5 of 100 different species of bugs into this little thing of tape. Imagine trying to throw in like 100 different species of bugs, 5 of each into here. I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, we got different sizes, all sorts of different things, trying to throw them all in here. That's how big this thing is. But you only see the big ones for a second, and then they disappear because the T-Rex and Gyro got out of a fight. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with them fighting. I think it's perfectly fine. Dinosaur fights are cool, but this one is ass. You'd be mistaken if you thought that, okay, this is a dinosaur fight. They can't make that uncool. They can, and they did. At first it's cool, but the Giga kicks Rexy's ass because she can't fight worth for fucking shit because the movie makers hate Rexy. And then they fly off. The freaking Therizinosaurus comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh yeah, you want to go? And they kind of start fighting, starts clawing at the Giga. And then, Rexy's basically dead. She's not even breathing at all. She is a statue on the ground. But then the light goes into her eyes and she's like, oh, I'm awake. And then she appears behind and the Giga's like, oh, I'm surrounded. And so Rexy runs at the Giga, bites down on its neck, and pushes it right into the claws of the Therizinosaurus. It is the dumbest shit you'll ever see. My God, they just decided to butcher everything. So they fly off. Everything's fine. Ellie and Alan get back together because, Jurassic Park 3 fucked that up. So at least this movie fixed that, I guess. I guess. Oh, fucking God. So anyway. Oh, I hate this movie. So they all get done, and remember that problem that the last movie presented to us, and the beginning of this one did, where dinosaurs and humans won't be forced to coexist or whatever? Yeah, no, forget that. That issue kind of fixed itself in the background. So, there was no goddamn point to having the dinosaurs on the mainland. It was just, there was no point. It doesn't come around. Nothing happens. Nothing happens with that plotline. They do nothing interesting. They wasted it. They wasted so much potential of this movie. So everyone lives happily after. I guess Bronson Valley becomes a sanctuary, which should have been the focus of this movie. Dinosaurs are in our world. We need to fix this. Guess what? There's this Bronson Valley. Last third of the movie should be them capturing dinosaurs and bringing them there. And then something, it's Bronson Valley, so, something fishy's going on that isn't fucking bugs. So we can have a problem that revolves around dinosaurs, and maybe Dr. Wu is the villain, and maybe has a redemption arc. Or maybe he's a pawn for Lewis Dodson, because that'd be a much better twist than him just being a good guy between movies. Because, okay, I need to wrap this up. So, 2 out of 10 is what I rank this movie, because it is ass. This movie gives me ulcers. This movie is the feeling you get when you wipe your ass and you dig too deep and there's a lot of shit in it and you get shit on your hands. That's what this movie feels like. This movie is what feels like when you say something, when you say something accidentally in front of your crush. When you say something like, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that, fuck." Yeah, that's what this movie makes me feel like. This movie is that feeling you get when this movie is the feeling you get when the tape starts to tear like this. This is that movie. This movie is ass. I hate this movie. This is the most disappointing. Ow! Fuck! What the hell? Ow! This movie's ass. This movie sucks so bad. Okay, what? Okay, it's a 2 out of 10. It's a 2 out of 10. This was the most disappointing cinematic experience I've ever been through. And I am not saying that lightly. I mean that. This movie makes me mad. This movie wasted so much potential. And for me, it might as well set up the next one for failure. Speaking of the next one, I will be reviewing that when it comes out in July or June or whenever, this summer. Whenever that comes out, I will be reviewing it. It'll be a spoiler review, so, if you haven't seen it yet or you just don't want spoilers, then don't watch my video. But, if you don't like spoilers or have already seen it, then, yeah, watch my review, because, I do get into spoilers. So, I will be watching Rebirth, starring Scarlett Johansson and nobody else I know, so stay tuned for that when that movie comes around the corner. And then, anyway, what is this review show going to do? What am I going to do with this review show? The Rambo series is next. It's one less movie, and guess what? There's no dog shit movies in here, no matter what my Uncle Paul will say. So yeah, there are no movies that are absolute dog shit in here. So we're gonna go through a good franchise. I actually like all the movies to some degree, and yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next time.